What is going on, YouTube? Happy New Year. It is January 1st. It is at 10 a.m. I'm in my office right now. Hair's a little all over the place, but just wanted to go live for a couple of reasons. I've been reading a lot lately on people that are in, say, relationship crises. They're crisi, however you want to say it. And they think that because they are single at 37 and that what's going on, how we doing? Because they're single at 37 and they have no prospects of a guy or a girl in their life, that they're fucked. They haven't hit their milestones that they should have by a certain age, or they're in debt or something else. And right now, I would say that a lot of things have led up to this. So we'll just go over a couple of problems that have led up to this, because if you have no solution for the problem, or if you have no cause to the root of the problem, then you have no way to fix it. So I call it a crisis because it's only going to get worse. And the reason it's only going to get worse is because the cell phone and people don't know how to deal with it. There's also a breakdown in what made civilizations amazing. So civilizations were made amazing because they helped each other. They relied on each other. Everything was self-sustaining. If you wanted to do something, you had to do it. If you wanted any medical care, maybe there's a doctor on your block, you had to go there. There was never anything really coming top down. It was all about in your tribe. And this isn't just like, oh, okay, Charles, that sounds about right for maybe 100 years. No. I'm talking about our last common ancestor, our LCA, split from Homo sapiens 250,000 years ago. 250,000. Okay, let's just talk about that one person called Jesus Christ. Okay, he roamed Earth 2,000 years ago. That's it. Imagine 248,000 years before that, we relied on each other. Okay, and then before that, the reason that we have everything, in other words, breathing, we don't have to think about heartbeats, we don't have to think about all the cells that are multiplying, dying off, digesting food, going through all the systems, the nervous system of the body, skeleton system of the body. We don't have to think about that, because for millions of years before that, we were evolving to our last common ancestor, which then became Homo sapiens, which then became blah, blah, blah. We think today, because today is all we've experienced, there's a cognitive bias behind this, where you think today is how it's always been, okay? No. Okay, you start reading about history, you start watching about history, even 150 years ago, 200 years ago in the United States, it was totally different. It was all wilderness, okay? The reason I bring this up is that people want to look at modern things, and they look at civilization now and they want to add a modern solution, okay? This is not a modern solution, okay? That's what happened. So there's really two things. Number one was the breakdown of the family. And the second thing was the cell phone usage, okay? Cell phones have completely relied. The reason being is that in our tribes, thank you very much about my voice, we've relied on only the people in our tribe. And in our tribe, we said, that's the best mate I'm going to have. And then that was the only mate that was available for millions of years, okay? Only in the last 10 years, 15, 20 years did we look around and say, holy shit, there's actually a better mate in New Jersey, or there's a better mate in this country, or I follow this person on Instagram. So in other words, everyone is looking for a 10 when you're really only a 6 or 5.5. Bill Burr said this brilliantly. He said, listen, I'm like a solid 5. And I understand that. I'm never going to be actually hired to do a romantic comedy or be that hero. I might be a villain because they're ugly and they're short and they're balding and they're like me. In other words, he's being realistic. The reason I say this is that people are looking for modern solutions. They're looking for things that have existed for millions of years. If you just look at happiness and everything else, it's obviously gone down. If you looked at when children were born, women between the ages of 20, I think it's 26 and 29, it used to be the majority. Now the majority is 30 to 34, okay? That's when most kids are born. 1 out of 4 women that have college educated degrees are not going to be married. Okay, there are ridiculous amount of men who are killing themselves, and the reason I'm saying all of this is because that is the extreme. Okay, but right now people want meaning, so let's go into that. All right, this guy is getting freaking banned. He's just absolutely terrible for the channel. Hide user on this channel. Okay, there you go. Who are these guys? I don't know. That's why I just hit him. All right, so let's go back into it. So what is the solution? The solution, there's an inward and there's an outward. Let's go into the inward really quick. So the inward is you need to have something on the inside that is your meaning, and there's something on the outside that is your meaning. I'm still formulating this, and it really came to a fruition, or to whatever the hell you want to call it, in the shower this morning. And I was like, okay, let's dial it down to a couple of categories. The first category is your work, your line of work. Okay, so your line of work, your craft, your art, your volunteerism. So in other words, let's take Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, his line of work, his passion was not like found. Or, I'm sorry, his passion was not given to him. Okay, your passion is never going to be given to them. Your passion is only going to be found. Okay, by the way, I just blocked him, so we don't have to worry about that guy. Our passion is going to give us, you become a doctor, you will be a doctor. Well, what if I like actually creating art or design or websites or apps or something like that? Okay, let's go a little bit deeper. So Steve Jobs loved creating things. Okay, that was his passion, his internal passion. There's things behind that, deeper levels behind that, is that you have to continuously improve, and you have to know that there is no end. There is no end. There is no, once I become a world champion, once I create the Macintosh, once I create the iPod, then it moved to the iPhone, which then moved to the iPad, then the iWatch, okay? He knew there was no end. So that was his internal passion. The external passion was kind of moving away from society. If you want to go on YouTube and look up his 1984 commercial, it's the most viewed commercial ever in history. And if you don't come close to the face like an orangutan monkey. All right, thanks a lot for the beautiful feedback. I actually heard about that 1984 commercial is that, I need to rest my arm. There we go. It's going to be a little bit easier here. So the 1984 commercial, the board actually said, don't spend, because it was aired at the Super Bowl, don't spend the $1 million. Him and Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, put up $500,000 each to have that actually viewed or actually aired. They mortgaged their homes. That's a passion. They're outside what happened to society because of it, the betterment of society. That goes along with Elon Musk. Elon Musk loves physics. He loves astrology and just living among the stars. That's his internal passion. His external passion is moving people forward. I've already found the girl I'm gonna marry. She's a friend, she doesn't know. That's awesome, man. Congratulations, Carlos. I highly recommend you marrying her, because I've just seen way too many articles of unhappy people because they partied too much in their 20s, 30s, and thought they could just marry someone that they met in their 20s and 30s immediately when they're ready. Bullshit, you both have to be ready. So let's go to Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa said, listen, the one thing that really makes me going is God and Christ and Jesus. And I'm just going to go religious on that. But that wasn't enough. She had to volunteer her time, okay? So there's a spiritual aspect. There's categories. The first one is the art, the craft, like a Steve Jobs, an Elon Musk, your work, your deep work. If you're an author, if you're a musician, something like that. If you're a musician or you're an author, you also have what your music does to people, what your books do to people, what your product, your service does to people, okay? So it's an internal and it's an external, okay? You can't just live, maybe you can live just internally like a monk, and you just live in the mountains and you do nothing for anyone else. You just are just feeling inner peace, okay? And the reason I'm saying all of this is because Elon Musk recently said, There is no passion. Highly recommend you just look up Elon Musk and meaning, and it'll come up. Dude, this guy is back. Someone is, there you go. I just hid this other guy. I don't know what the fuck is going on with these bots. If you just pursue something externally, I pursue my relationship, I pursue my job, but there's nothing internal, you will never be fulfilled. You have to see something fulfilled on the inside. You cannot just look out at your boat or your company or you have to have an internal passion. And again, how do you find your passion? You have to find it, okay? There's debating ways how to find it. I'm just gonna throw out 2 ways. There's only 2 ways. Number 1 is you dig really deep into a subject, you become really good at that, and then that's your passion, okay? All right, I'm gonna just start fucking blocking people that just write bullshit. The second thing is that, so you actually become really good at it. The other thing is that you really like it. It becomes your passion, and then you become really good at it. Okay, for me, I had to get really good at real estate to understand it's my passion. Okay, I never walked into real estate and was like, this is my passion. I had to get good at it because if you read Leonard's book or Lon, however you say his name, about mastery, read that book. Okay, if you read that book, the number one thing that happens is, I don't know what is going on with these people. I might just not even allow fucking comments anymore because there's people that are just writing bullshit. Okay, so this year, I highly recommend you do one of 2 things. You say, the outside I think is gonna be easy. The external is very easy. The second thing is, internally, you have to work on your internal ways. So for me, it's church, it's spirituality. I'm not really religious, but I understand that they kind of got it right. All the Aristotles and the Platos of the time, they kind of got it right. They understood that life was empty and meaningless, and that you had to create your own meaning. So look internal first. The best way to look internal is eliminate all distractions. Okay, I'm talking about apps, TV, your cell phone, everything. And sit down and just first conquer the demons. Okay, did you have a rough childhood? Did you have an abusive childhood? Did you grow up in poverty? Did you grow up with a bad household? Did you grow up with a single parent household? Did you grow up with just your grandma and you're jealous? Did you grow up with no spirituality or too much spirituality? Did you grow up with no money or too much money? Okay, I had to do this. This took me so fucking long to understand that I can't move on if I still have a layer of sod. Okay, we're in Manhattan. Those are tall buildings. Okay, those buildings are built on bedrock. That's not built on sand. Okay, listen, I already blocked whoever. I'm not gonna fucking worry about the comments anymore. I'm very close to turning off the comments because it's distracting. It comes up. Listen, you have to dig through all of this shit. I'll give you the last example and I'm gonna head out, and then I'm gonna ask you one question afterwards. I went to my mom because I brought this up already. I went to my mom and I was like, she brings up, why don't you allow me to work anymore? And this is the thing. I don't allow my mom to work with me because it gives me kind of like an insecurity that I'm not as far along as I should, that I need help to be brought on. And I told her that. I said, Mom, anytime you bring that, and we got into an argument. She said, oh, I thought I was helping yourself. I understand, but that's why we're having this conversation right now. You have to have that conversation with yourself. Your conversation with yourself is, why the fuck am I unhappy right now? Is it because I'm not taking action? Is it because of a relationship, my job, my lack of finances, my body, my mindset? There's probably a lot of things, okay? The thing is, and this is the question, what is one small thing? Do you have to eliminate porn, okay? Instead of pleasuring yourself once a day, you go once every 2 days, once every 3 days, okay? Instead of going to the gym every single day, you just go once. Okay, it's all about consistency. It's all about showing up. Okay, this has taken me 11 years to understand. Okay, this isn't overnight. Okay, I had to understand that I had to remove all of the insecurities of being a fucking loser and not getting the girl that I wanted to actually get the girl now that I want. Okay? I was a really nice guy when I was in high school. And then I went to college and I became a supreme asshole. Then I came out of college and I said, well, high school didn't work. College didn't work. What does work? Those were the questions going through my mind. Okay? It's not easy. Because you're going to start digging up insecurities that you really don't want to talk about. You're going to dig up things that you really make you uncomfortable and want to grab for your cell phone or turn on TV or start eating or drinking or going out with friends. It's not going to be fun. But if you want to go on a life of misery, then you grab your cell phone. You watch TV and you never actually go down into that dark closet, into the demons that are still there. You can't improve if your foundation is made of sod. You have to dig through that sod and say, okay, we've hit rock bottom. Okay? Number one step of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, is I'm an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic. Okay? For me, it was like, you know what? Girls don't like me. Why? All right? So I hope you guys find meaning. One is external. The other is internal. The categories are your craft, your art, your passion, which is something you do work-wise. That could be volunteering, that could be apps, websites. The effect it has, so that's internal, okay? How it makes you feel. It could be spirituality, it could be religious, it could be volunteering. That's all internal. The external is the effect it has on other people, okay? You combine that and it's deadly. It's deadly. It really is. But I highly recommend you start on the internal first, okay? What really gets you going? And it's found, it's not given. I can't give you meaning. I can't give you your passion. You can only discover it. And if you say, I can't discover it, you never will. And I feel bad for you. And I will look at your blog post when you're 38, 41, 52, 55, and you say, I retired, I have no meaning, all of my meaning was in my job. That means that you've never actually found internal meaning, you found only external meaning. All the players that used to play in the NFL, okay? That's amazing. If you conquered your health, I can tell you right now, because that is the hardest, you will dominate this year. Learn about it. Learn about why alcohol is bad. It's a poison. Why drinking water is good for you. Why lack of exercise is bad for you. Why exercise is good for you. The long-term effects, I don't know how it's going to hit you. I have no idea. But I highly recommend you figure out the internal first, and it's baby fucking steps. Atomic Habits is the best book that I've read about that. Have an amazing day. Highly recommend you also read David Goggins. Happy New Year. If you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. I'm going to be going live every single day. I'm just very passionate this year about, I'm just reading a lot of just where people are just very, very lost and on the verge of dream during childhood, but when grow up, yeah, I'll leave you with that. So what was my dream when I don't know what my dream was when I was growing up. I don't know what's weird. People remember their childhood way more than I do. I don't remember anything about my childhood. You know, people are like, I remember when I was 6. I remember when I was 7. I know like snippets of my childhood. That's about it. And I'll tell you right now, so I didn't have a childhood gene. I didn't have anything that I'm like, when I become older, I want to be. I never had that. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this, is that there's two ways to think about it. You could either think that someone beat it out of you, society beat it out of you, your parents, which, by the way, is somewhat true, but you're still alive. Talk about all the people that started jobs when they're older, started their passion when they're older. The guy that started McDonald's, Ray Kroc, he was 55 years old. The guy that started KFC, Colonel Sanders, was 65 years old. All right? So if you say I'm too late, you're right. If you say I'm too early, you're right. If I'm too old, too young, whatever. This is the thing I can say about it is, if you think someone beat it out of you, you are correct. If you still think there's time, you also are correct. Okay? Do you understand how deep I'm going right now? What you say is true because you believe it. What I tell you, you will not believe unless you believe it as to be true. It's known as the confirmation bias. Okay, the confirmation bias essentially says that what you believe You seek out and then you believe whatever you hear that you already believe. You're confirming your bias. If you confirm that the world is out to get you and someone's saying, the world is out to get you, you are a victim, then you will confirm with that bias and you'll be like, you know what, it is. I will keep on watching more of this content, okay? It's very deep work. It's very alone. It's in silence, and excuse me, and only you can do it. So have an amazing day. Happy New Year. If you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. Anything you want me to talk about. Health is a great focus for 2019.